Hey guys, welcome back to Skyview, and today we have a Mustang Mach-E. This is the base model.
I generally like this color, but on this car, because the wheels are the same color, I don't think it shows the lines as well. It's a curvy car. It's got the hips in the back, which, you know, trying to kind of show the Mustang lineage there. And I have to be honest, when I first saw this a while ago, when they were first revealed it, it didn't wow me. But now that we've had this one for a few days and spending time with it, it is really growing on me. I think they did a great job showing the ties to the Mustang, but obviously this is a four-door sedan. Probably similar functionality to, you know, like an Edge. No third row, quite good room in the first and second row, fair amount of storage in the back.
I really like the front end. I think it's kind of where they like tie it to the Mustang. But the headlights look real aggressive.
Interesting, there's no grille, right? That's kind of a shout out to let you know it's an electric vehicle. Where the grill goes, it's just that Mustang with the solid fascia, which is kind of neat. I mean, in my mind, this is one of the first vehicles post-Tesla that made electric cars cool. Right, if you think about before Tesla, it was volts and bolts and electric focus, and they just weren't cool cars. Tesla made electric cars cool and fun and sexy, and I think this is the first mainstream manufacturer's product to do the same thing.
What do you think about it having the Mustang name?
I think it makes sense. I think Mustang's a very strong name. I mean, it's right up there with F-150. What I find interesting is a lot of people just refer to it as the Mach-E. You don't hear people saying Mustang Mach-E all the time. Sometimes it's just Mach-E. So I think it worked both ways. It kind of made its own identity, but yet having the Mustang name tied to it, I think really helped.
It just pops right open. You get a fair amount of storage space. You kind of have the dividers up right now, but you can take them out. What I think is really neat is you got a drain plug, so this could be practically a cooler.
So I wonder, you know, the term tailgating implies you're hanging out around the back of your vehicle with the tailgate down. Is there some new term,
front take,
that we're gonna start hearing for, instead of tailgating, it'd be front gating? Or frunk gating, maybe?
Nice Mach-E emblem right there. There's a lot of kind of Easter eggs around the car, a lot of Mustangs, which I find cool up there as well. Open the trunk. Under here there's a button. You get a fair amount of space, I'd say, for its class, for it being a sedan.
Not have a spare tire.
It does not.
It has a kit. You pump it up.
So I'd say for functionality, this is very functional. Yeah, a lot of storage room now.
It really is practical. A lot of functionality here. Like I said, comparable to an Edge or something. No third row, but quite a bit of room.
Get a fair amount of leg room and headroom. I have a couple inches above my head. I'm 5'10".
Man, I got all kinds of leg room here.
You have your USB-C and USB-A chargers down there. And now you open the doors in the back the same way you open them in the front. And you don't actually have a door handle. You have a little click in here that you pull, and it almost props the door out a little bit, and then you just push. Let's say you're trying to get into the car. All you do is you press the button, and it pops open, and then you just pull. On full charge, we were getting around 186 miles.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a little bit, it's been, you know, 35 to 40 degrees. I wonder what that would go to if it was 60 or 70 degrees. This has the smaller, you can get a bigger battery, right? An extended range battery. This has the shorter, the smallest battery.
Yeah, so if you get the extended range battery, it comes in all-wheel drive. The bigger battery gets you around 350 horsepower. Range, I believe, is actually around 300 as well.
300, gets you another 100 miles.
Yeah. Hop in the front. I fit very well. I'm 5'10". I really like the steering wheel. It's not like your traditional Mustang steering wheel. Huge touchscreen display. As well as a nice dash, which I really like that Ford added. I also like the design. It's very smooth, futuristic. They kept it simplistic.
Yeah, I think this is a nice balance. And it does pull in a little bit of the traditional Mustang styling.
All right, should we take it for a drive?
Sure.
This is the base model, so it has rear-wheel drive. It has 266 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. This base price starts around $44,000. However, you can option it up all the way to around $65,000. Press this Mach-E up here, you get all your drive modes. So you have Whisper, which is super quiet, and it kind of eliminates the one-pedal drive. We're in Engage, which is the normal, so there's a fair amount of one-pedal drive. And then Unbridled, which is the sport mode, and the steering, you really feel it tighten up, and the gas is much more instant. and you can turn one pedal drive on and off down here at the bottom. And I think Ford has done a really nice job with the one pedal drive. When you let off, it's a lot smoother than the Teslas. And you also have your propulsion sound. And what that is when you accelerate, it almost sounds like a rocket ship. So that's pretty cool. It actually sounds quite good. I like it. You hear it a little bit there, but I'm not accelerating as hard. But when I accelerate harder, you'll definitely be able to hear it.
All right, so I looked up the weight, and it's anywhere between 4,400 and 4,900 pounds, probably depending on when you get the extended range battery and how many options you get and everything. And the Bronco, interestingly, has almost the same weight range, about 4,300 to 4,900. And when you think about the torque of the base Mach-E, would you say it was 317?
Yeah. Well, yeah, torque, yeah.
Think about the torque of the 2.3 liter EcoBoost that's standard in the Bronco, and it's what, 300, 310, something like that?
Yeah.
And they weigh about the same, so it's kind of an interesting comparison. Two completely different vehicles, one electric, one gas, but similar torque and weight ratings.
I'll tell you one thing though, the horsepower and torque in the Mach-E comes on a lot harder than in the Bronco. Instant torque is crazy.
Torque is great.
All right, we'll get on the gas a little bit here. Yeah, that is pretty fast.
Yeah, pretty good. My head went back into the headrest.
And that wasn't even full throttle. That was maybe 3/4. I really appreciate how Ford has the dash. Tesla's eliminated the dash, and you actually have your miles per hour up here, but it's just so much easier to drive when you have your speedometer.
Yeah, you know, the Tesla concept reminds me of that economy size, like B-class Toyota. I forget what the name of it was. And they actually had the controls, or the instrument cluster in the middle, so when they sold it in right-hand drive markets, they didn't have to change the dashboard. And it was just really economy, you know, focused and cost conscious. And Tesla obviously has the huge display screen and is pretty cool looking inside, but the fact that you have to look over into the center always makes me think of that. It wasn't the Prius, I can't remember what it was called, that really tiny Toyota that had that center stack.
And granted, that's not on all the Teslas, it's just the Model 3, but I like how Ford has the minimalistic point of view in this car, but it's not as drastic as it is in the Tesla. You still get your base features, you still get a dial at the bottom, your volume control, which is really nice.
Yeah, that is cool. One thing I did notice when I was driving it, this dial, the gear selection, transmission dial, it's too far back. Like, you gotta pull your elbow back to get to it. Your hand naturally wants to go up here, and then you gotta readjust that. I mean, no big deal, and after you owned it for a little while, your hand would get trained. But I've noticed I keep wanting to reach up here and I'm gonna readjust.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, and maybe that's due to the seating position, but you're right, it is not as comfortable as say in the Explorer ST where it's up here.
Right.
Another comparison to the Explorer ST is the vertical screen. This has a vertical screen as well, but I think Ford did a much better job utilizing the space.
Well, and it's a lot bigger too, right? The thing with that Explorer ST, you're right, it's vertical, but they just use the top section for most of your traditional functions, so it's no more useful than just the regular 8-inch screen. They've kind of bifurcated it.
Yeah, so we have the home wall plug-in, and that actually works pretty efficiently. We charge it overnight. However, I've heard of a lot of complaints about charging it like on road trips. A lot of the charging stations aren't as reliable as the Tesla ones. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
Now that had the kind of the fake noise. Is that what that was?
Propulsion sound,
I
yeah.
don't like that.
You don't?
No, what I like about electric cars is they're quiet. Like that's one of the things, all for, you know, a century where they've been trying to get internal combustion engine, you know, quieter in cars, and then they make a car that has no internal combustion engine that is just wonderfully quiet, and they create a fake sound to make it My guess is over time, 20 years from now, that that'll fade, because right now they're trying to make it compare it to a gas engine.
Well, luckily for us, you can turn it on and off. So as we're on the highway, this does come standard with adaptive cruise control. So you set it on your left side of your steering wheel. So first you set cruise control, and it pops up on your dashboard right there. We have it set at 64, and then right there you can see the Mach-E on the dash, and you can adjust how far you want the cruise control to allow you to the car in front of you, and you can adjust that on the left side of your steering wheel right here. We have it set at actually the closest distance right now, and if we catch up on a car here, we can tell the car pops up in front, and it allows us to get closer, further, depending on the setting we choose. This also has lane keep assist, lane keeping system, so it is actually driving for me right now. Blues.
So lane keeping, where it actually steers. There's the other one where it only kicks in if you start to go out of your lane, but this one actually steers.
So this one I have my hands off, and it's telling me to keep my hands on.
What's the Ford's come out with a new system?
Blue Cruise.
Blue Cruise, where it actually monitors your eyes, which I find to be a lot more useful. Having your hands on the wheel with these systems is silly to me, because the car is trying to drive, and the only way it knows your hands are on the wheel is if you fight it a little bit, and that seems to defeat the purpose of having, self-driving.
So we're approaching a car right now, and it actually is allowing me to go hands-free, it says. I think it was scanning my eyes with this right here. But we're going 61, so slow down to the car in front of us, and if we adjust our distance via this button, now we are at the closest setting. So we should hopefully start to see it speed up a little bit.
It actually says hands-free on the dash.
Yeah.
So yeah, it must be monitoring your, I think it might be this right here.
Yeah, and I think that, but we're speeding up a little bit to the car in front of us as he speeds up. So adaptive cruise control is doing a real nice job. So we've got the noise test here on the Apple Watch. Let's see what it's at.
Wow, like between 55 and 57 decibels at 67 miles an hour. That is really quiet.
It's also fully hands-free now, so it's tracking my eyes. It's cool. All right, we'll do a little turning test up here in acceleration at a higher speed. Still pretty fast. Let's see how it handles through this corner. The steering is a little bit numb. You can't really feel the road as much as you'd like to through the steering wheel, but it's not bad. It definitely tightens up. And I'm in the normal drive mode as of right now, and it actually feels like I'm driving a normal car. There's not that one pedal drive on.
Yeah, that was, when we picked this up, kind of got the 101 on the controls and everything, and in my head I was ready for just a really different experience. I think that's part of its appeal. You definitely know you're an electric car, and the interior is very
futuristic,
modern and futuristic, but yet when you actually start driving it, other than the quietness and that kind of thing, it drives, it's a car you could live with every day and not feel like you were, other than the charging aspect, giving up any of your normal conveniences
that you get in a gas car.
That you get in a traditional car.
Yeah, I'm fully off the gas, and I actually have to use the brake to stop, which is nice. It's not as jerky. It's still very smooth. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video on the Mustang Mach-E. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.